What's up guys, Silk Prime here, and today we're going to be talking about War of the Sparks Planeswalkers. Now, we finally have all of the cards have been released, so let's get into it. Let's take a look at these Planeswalkers. First up, we have Teo, the Shield Mage. His static ability is you have Hexproof, which is pretty sick on its own. For a 3 mana cost, and he has a 5 loyalty. He has a -2 ability, create a 0 white wall creature token with Defender. That's not bad. Personally, I'd probably just use him like any other enchantment. You know, I would probably use him as just for that hexproof. I mean, the 0/3 wall is great. You know, you'll get it off about twice. You know, unless you have a way to beef up his loyalty numbers. But yeah, you can put out 2 walls and still have the hexproof. He'll be relatively easy to kill if you produce one of those walls, but you do have some kind of protection. But yeah, I think it's pretty good as far as using him as like a not planeswalker, but as an enchantment. And I noticed a lot about these cards is that with the static abilities, and some of them are really good, that they're pretty much enchantments for the most part with some neat abilities. This next one I've been really curious about. When they released this image, I had no idea who this was, and I was really excited to find out who it was, and now that I see who it is, the Wanderer, I'm really excited about this card. I want it in my deck. For a 4-drop, prevent all non-combat damage that be dealt to you and other permanents you control. That's a brutal card to have on the battlefield. This is the staple for any white deck in Standard. If you don't have this card, I think it'd be foolish to not have this card in any deck that you're running to prevent all non-combat damage. When you're coming across those burn decks, that stuff gets rough. This levels the playing field, or tilts it, I should say, really. But man, that's a good static ability. -2, exile target creature with power 4 or greater. You'll get it off 2 times, with the 5 loyalty, but that's awesome. I mean, I'm definitely going to be having this in any deck where I'm running white, and it just makes sense to me. Next up, we have Jace, the Wielder of Mysteries. Let's see here. If you would draw a card while your library has no cards in it, you win the game instead. That is a new way of trying to win this game. Because if you were milled, the second you reach for that card, you die if there's no cards in your library. But this lets you win that way. I'm wondering if there's enough cards out there that'll let you mill yourself to really make that worth doing. He's a 4-drop. He's got 2 abilities. His +1 is target player puts the top 2 cards of their library into their graveyard. Draw a card. So you can mill some. You can mill yourself at 2 cards a turn. So I guess that helps. You have a -8. Draw 7 cards. Then if your library has no cards in it, you win the game. That's I don't know why it says that as well, but because you already have the static ability. But I guess you wouldn't have to reach for the card then. But he's okay. For a 4-drop, 4 loyalty, just I don't know. Like maybe someone will do something really awesome with him. But for me, I don't think I would use him a whole lot. I've definitely seen some other Planeswalkers in the set that I'm definitely more excited about. This one was kind of a new one for me. This is a Cosmina Enigmatic Mentor. She's a 4-drop with 5 loyalty. Spells your opponent's cast that target a creature or planeswalker you control cost 2 more to cast. That slows things down quite a bit. That's also very anti-burn deck. so many of those spells just are a 1 mana cost or a 2 mana cost. Now they gotta wait, not too, don't have to wait too long, because this is gonna come out on turn 4, but it's gonna cost 4 mana to cast one of those 2 mana burn spells. She has a -2. Create a 2/2 blue wizard creature token. Draw a card, then discard a card. That's not bad. I like that. You'll probably, with her loyalty being a 5, you'll get off at least 2 times. More if you can bump up the counters. But she's okay. I think people will do some neat things with her. And this is a Planeswalker I wasn't really familiar with. There's a few of them I've never heard of before in this set, which I'm kind of excited about. But the same ones, the ones I have never heard of, were just kind of to me. This one's kind of hard to read. It's got the artwork kind of obscuring the name. Is it Davriel, Rogue Shadow Mage? At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, if that player has one or fewer cards in hand, Davriel, Rogue Shadow Mage deals 2 damage to them. He's a 3-drop, 3 loyalty, has a -1 ability that says target player discards a card. Not really. I mean, there's definitely been enchantments like this where someone has 1 or fewer cards in their hand, they take damage, but he has a way of making the target player, discard cards, which is great. Only thing is, with the loyalty of 3, if you don't boost him, you're only be able to get off about 2 times, just like the other Planeswalkers. Because you don't want to do it 3 times, and then you'll kill your Planeswalker, and then that ability doesn't, take effect. So you want to make sure that you only do it twice, so you can keep him around so that you can deal that damage. But I don't think very many people are going to be using Davriel a whole lot. All right, next up we got, is it Obnixis or Nixilis, the Hate Twisted, 5-drop, 5 loyalty. Whenever an opponent draws a card, Obnixis, the Hate Twisted deals 1 damage to that player. Destroy target creature. Its controller draws 2 cards. I think it'll be. I think it can be used. Anything that's going to let you draw a card is always going to give you the upper hand. It's going to give you a little bit of an edge. I mean, how many of us have lost a game, but then you take a look at the last card of your library and you realize that card would have won you the game. This lets you get that card. So, but that mana cost though is a 5-drop with a 5 loyalty. Maybe I would probably run him in like a multiplayer game, but I don't think I would actually run him in standard personally. Well, but if you'll use him, let me know. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know how you use him. That'd be awesome. But next up we got Jaya, Venerated Fire Mage. Sorry, text is a little bit small on my end. If another red source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals that much damage plus 1 to that permanent or player instead. It is a 5-drop with a 5 loyalty, with only a -2 ability. Let's see, Jaya deals 2 damage to target, 2 damage to any target. That's not bad. You cast a spell. She's automatically going to deal damage, the 1 damage, and then you can do a -2, so you can get off 3 hits in 1 turn. Plus how many spells you're casting. So obviously it has an impact on what spell you're casting, but I'm not impressed personally. Which I kind of feel like I'm not impressed by a lot of the Planeswalkers so far, except for like the first 2. But I mean, she's okay. It's just that 5 mana to get that ability when you could drop a Gutter Snipe for 3 mana, and he's going to do 2 damage for the same ability. Like, I think I'd just rather run for Gutter Snipes than Jaya. I mean, but there's a lot of support cards in Standard. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of support cards in Standard that could make her very useful, I imagine. But but I'm not thinking about like the support cards in general, because those support cards, you might have them, you might not have them. So I'm just kind of judging the planeswalkers kind of as they are, like I would judge any other planeswalker, which might not necessarily be fair, but I mean, we're all kind of thinking, it's like it's a planeswalker still, But okay, we'll get down to looking at the cards. So I was actually really excited for this guy to come back out. Tybalt, the Rakish Instigator. Tybalt is a 3-drop with a 5 loyalty. Your opponents can't gain life. -2. Create a 1/1 red devil creature token with, when this creature dies, it deals 1 damage to any target. I was really excited about this card coming out without seeing what it actually does yet, because Tybalt, the first Tybalt that came out, he needed some work, but that's okay. But so I was wondering, is he gonna suck still? Are they gonna like let him continue to suck, or are they gonna try to make him better? So it's like I wanted him to be better, but part of me kind of wanted him to suck still. You know what I mean? Because it's just part of who Tybalt is in a way. But they made him better. Your opponents can't gain life. That's huge. It might not sound so huge, but right now a standard, I don't know if you guys, if you're playing Magic Arena, then how many lifelink decks have you been coming across? Everyone's got a Johnny's Welcome. They're all running 4 of him, which is great. It's only 1 for each creature, but if you're doing a token deck, you have that out there, your opponent's getting up to about 40 or 50 life, right off the bat. And Tybalt is going to put an end to that. And not only is he going to do that, he's also going to put out creature tokens. Now, they're just 1/1 devils, but still, those 1/1 devils are a defender. And they could, late in the game, someone might not want to kill those guys, because every little piece of life matters at that point. But I'm super happy that Tybalt is a little bit better. He's not overpowered by any means, but he's there, and I think a lot of people are going to actually be using him this time. All right, next up we got Arlen, Voice of the Pack. She's a 6-drop, and with a 7 loyalty. Each creature you control that's a wolf or a werewolf enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. That's kind of awesome. Because I don't know, of the games that I play, whether it's on Arena or in store for Standard or just even my casual home games, I don't see anyone playing wolves or werewolves. I don't see anyone ever playing with wolves or werewolves, and I think this card could change that. Granted it's a 6-drop, but it's gonna, if you are running a themed deck of wolves and werewolves, your 1/1s are going to come out as 2/2s, and that's a great card to have. And she has a -2, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. So it's going to come out as a 2/2. It's going to get the +1/+1 counter. You're actually producing 3/3 wolf tokens, and 3/3s are solid powered creatures. You can't really complain with getting a 3/3. And it looks like we got another green planeswalker. I'm gonna massacre this name, so please forgive me. Is it Zhang Yanggu? I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Help me out in the comments if you would. Wild Crafter. Each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has tap, add 1 mana of any color. That's a good mana fixer. He's a 3-drop with 3 loyalty, with a -1 ability of put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. In true green fashion, beefing up the creatures, making them bigger, and supporting them in that way, awesome. I think he's a pretty solid card. Next up, we got Vivian, Champion of the Winds, or of the Wilds. Sorry, I read too fast. 3-drop, 4 loyalty. You may cast creature spells as though they had flash. That's cool. A +1 is, sorry, it's small on my end. Until your next turn, up to one target creature gains Vigilance and Reach. Cool. -2. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Exile one of them face down and put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. For as long as it remains exiled, you may look at that card and you may cast it if it's a creature card. Okay, I mean that's alright, I guess, you know. But it's an okay card. I don't know if I would use it. Maybe I might give it a try, but yeah, it's a good card. I'll give it that. I think it's a decent card. Let's see here. Next up. All right. Next up, we have Dormy, Anarch of Bolas. All right. He has a 3-drop for 3 loyalty. Creatures you control get a +1/+0. Not bad. +1. Add red or green. Creature spells you cast this turn can't be countered. There you go. So we're seeing some of these planeswalkers who are putting things out that are definitely going to slow down the burn decks. But this one's going to slow down those counter decks, and on turn 3 that is huge. Because usually you gotta wait till turn 2 before they start countering things. You know, so if you can get him out there without him himself getting countered, you've brought things to a halt for a lot of those counter decks. He has a -2 ability. Target creature you control fights a target creature you don't control. That's good if you're running some larger creatures. That's a awesome ability. I like that. Dormy's he's pretty solid. I think he's okay. I like him. All right, next up we got Rawl, Storm Conduit. So the static is whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, Rawl Storm Conduit deals 1 damage to target opponent or planeswalker. Okay, so he's got like the gutter snipe thing going on. He is a 4-drop with a 4 loyalty. His +2 is a Scry 1. And his -2 is when you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets with the copy. That's rough. That is so rough because, like, I have a friend who plays like the burn decks, and he'll do an instant that'll hit me for 3, but with him he's gonna copy it and hit me for 6. Like, oh, that's rough. You know, and he gets to do it twice. He can do it twice, you know, at the least. So, for me, that's a good card. That's a very good card. Alright, next up we got Sorin, Vengeful Bloodlord. He's a 4-drop with a 4 loyalty. As long as it's your turn, creatures and planeswalkers you control have lifelink. That's nice. I dig that. +2. Sorin, Vengeful Bloodlord, deals 1 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Alright, I like that. And he has a -X. Return target creature with converted mana cost X from your graveyard to the battlefield. That creature is a vampire in addition to its other types. So he's got a graveyard ability. That's cool. Anytime you can bring something back after somebody murders him is always a good idea. I'm kind of salty when someone plays the murder card on my creatures. But alright, we got Tamiyo, Collector of Tales. 4-drop, 5 loyalty. Creatures and spells and abilities your opponents control can't cause you to discard cards or sacrifice permanents. I like Tamiyo, and I don't see Tamiyo used a whole lot, and I think we're gonna see Tamiyo used a lot more now. To make it so you can't discard or sacrifice a permanent. That's awesome. She's got a +1. Choose a non-land card name. Then reveal the top 4 cards of your library. Put all cards with the same chosen name from among them into your hand, and the rest into your graveyard. I'm not real big on that ability. Because I can be running for like hired poisoners. I could say hired poisoner, but I'm not going to get him. Of course, no. Hired poisoner is a black card. Don't light me up too bad. but just as an example, yeah. I mean, there's not their odds of getting him are not all that great. -3. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand. It's a good card. That by itself is good, but he has a 5 loyalty, so you're only gonna get that off one time. So you gotta have some support planeswalker cards to beef that up. But I think the static ability, that alone, is what makes the card worth it to me. Teferi, Time Raveler. I hope he's kind of. Dude. Teferi was a nightmare to deal with in Arena and in Standard. Gosh, man, so many people were playing these decks that I swear didn't have any creatures in it, and they just destroy you with Teferi. So let's see if it's gonna be like that again. Looks like it. He's a 3-drop with 4 loyalty counters. His static ability is each opponent can cast spells only anytime you could cast a sorcery. that slows it down so much. He's got a +1 until your next turn. You may cast sorcery spells as though they had flash. That's okay. It's not bad. -3. Return up to 1 target artifact, creature, or enchantment to its owner's hand. Draw a card. He's not as good as the last Teferi, but he's still good. That static ability, your opponents can't cast any spells unless it's the same time that he casts a sorcery. So you've taken away instants, essentially. That's good. I like that. That's gonna definitely slow down counter decks and burn decks, for sure. All right, let's see here. Who do we got next? Yep, we got this guy. He is was it Engrath, Captain of Chaos. Let's see. He's a 4-drop with the 5 loyalty counters. Creatures you control have menace. All right, not bad. -2, amass 2. That's cool. So, but I can't really get behind him though. Menace is okay. Menace is an okay ability. I like it. It's good enough. But the -2 for the amass, I like amass. Amass is a great ability. But you're only gonna get this off twice. So pretty much you're paying 4 to give a creature, essentially you're pretty much creating a 4/4 creature in the span of 2 turns. When you can just put an enchantment, that's probably going to have only make me a 2 or 3 mana cost. It's going to get the same power, and it's going to stay there. It's permanent. And you get on the first time you cast the card. So, I'm not impressed. I don't know if you guys like that or not, but All right, let's move on. We got Dovin, Hand of Control. That sounds like a nightmare already. He's a 3-drop with 5 loyalty counters. Artifact, instant, and sorcery spells your opponents cast cost 1 more to cast. Okay, that's not bad. It slows down your opponent. -1. Until your next turn, prevent all damage that would be dealt to and dealt by permanent and opponent controls. That's okay. Okay, that's Alright, so you got Dovin on your battlefield. You activate the -1 ability, and until your next turn, no one can hurt you. That's good. That's real good. Let's see. There's got to be a hole in it. Hold on. Until your next turn, prevent all damage that would be dealt to and dealt by target opponent. Oh, okay. So Okay, that's the whole. For some reason, I was thinking that he's going to prevent all damage, and that's not the case. He's going to prevent damage from one source. But that's good, though. And you can do it for 5 straight turns. That's awesome. Yeah. I think he's worth putting in your deck. I definitely think his rarity should be a little bit better. But yeah, it's good. All right, let's bring out. Was it Kaya, Bane of the Dead? She's a 6-drop with a 7 loyalty counter. Your opponents and permanents your opponents control with hexproof can be the targets of spells and abilities you control as though they didn't have hexproof. Exile target creature for a -3. That's pretty good. So that first planeswalker we were looking at, who gave all of your permanents hexproof, that guy, he's toast with her, but she's not going to come out till like turn 6, so that at that point your game should be almost done. But yeah, that's okay. I dig it. I feel the mana cost is a little high for what she does, but I think she's good. Yeah. So let's move on to Kiora, Behemoth Beckoner. It's a 3-drop with a 7 loyalty. That's pretty sick. Whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. All right, not bad. -1, untap target permanent. That's great. You could always have some kind of defender, some kind of creature that's going to protect you every single turn for the next 7 turns. So by turn 10, if you got this card out the earliest possible, by turn 10 you're untapping a creature for the last one. That's good. Yeah, I don't mind that. It's not like a card I would particularly run in my deck, but good card. Alright, next up we got Nahari, Storm of Stone. She's a 4-drop with a 6 loyalty counter. As long as it's your turn, creatures you control have first strike, and equip abilities you activate cost 1 less to activate. That's cool. Let's see here, -X. Nahari, Storm of Stone, deals X damage to target tapped creature. The static ability is okay. I think the static ability is alright, but I'm not real big on the -X. That's not my thing. But because she's a 6 loyalty, so I don't know. I just feel like you'd want to leave that for when someone puts out a 6/6. So it's like I'd put it on the battlefield and then she'd just sit there. As like a backup plan, but yeah, let me know if you'd use her. I'm not sure what I would actually do with her, so if she's worth running in a deck. But yeah, let me know what you guys would do. I would be curious to check that out. Alright, now we've got, was it Sahili? Sublime Artificer? Or something like that. She's a 3-drop with 5 loyalty. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature token. Alright, that's not bad. -2, target artifact you control becomes a copy of another target artifact or creature you control until the end of turn, except it's an artifact in addition to its other types. That's cool. I like that. So she's a good complementary type card. If you're doing an artifact deck, that's pretty awesome. But I don't see her getting a whole lot of gameplay. But we'll move forward. Looks like we're getting to some of these planeswalkers that I don't recognize. We got is that Samut or Semut? Tyrant Smasher. He's a 4-drop with a 5 loyalty. Creatures you control have haste. That's awesome. -1. Target creature gets a +2/+1 and gains haste until the end of turn. Scry 1. So why would the -1 also give haste if creatures you control have haste? Target creature gets a +2/+1 and gains haste until the end of turn. Only thing I can think of is that maybe if your creature comes out first and then you cast your Planeswalker, you can do the -1 and give the creature haste. But every creature after that will have haste. But I don't know why you would do that, because if you can cast a creature with the Planeswalker, you just cast the Planeswalker first, right? So, unless you're playing a blue deck, though, that's different, because you might cast your creature to see if the other player is going to counter that creature, and if they don't counter immediately, they probably don't have that counter in their hand, so you're kind of testing the waters, and then you throw your Planeswalker out there, give him haste. But I doubt that they're doing that just for that one instance, you know. But I think he's great. I'd consider running him. You know, I wouldn't run him in like a red-green deck, because I'm not real big on red-green. That's not my style. But definitely run him in a red deck or just a green deck. I think he's great. All right. This has always been one of my favorite Planeswalkers. Vraska, Swarm's Eminence. She's a 4-drop with a 5 loyalty. Whenever a creature you control with Death Touch deals damage to a player or Planeswalker, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. Sick. Love it. -2. Create a 1/1 black assassin creature token with Death Touch, and whenever this creature deals damage to a Planeswalker, destroy that Planeswalker. Okay, so I don't know if you guys how familiar you are with some of the earlier prints of Vraska, but she had an ability. One of her final abilities was you'd create, I think, 3 assassin tokens. These 3 1/1s, and when they dealt damage to an opponent, they would kill that opponent, and you'd win the game. But now it looks like the assassins just kill a Planeswalker with 1 hit. Which is, awesome still. It's still good. But being a fan of Vraska, it's kind of a letdown a little bit, that, like, okay, I'm going to send my 1/1 guy at a Planeswalker. But then again, that might work better, because people want to protect their Planeswalkers to the bitter end, right? Because of their ultimates. So that could be a good way to destroy a creature. That's awesome. So I think she's still a really good card. But the loyalty, I think, is just right. Alright, so I'm not familiar with this Planeswalker. Was it Houtley? The Sun's Heart. 3-drop with a 7 loyalty. Each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. Not bad. Do a wall deck, that's actually pretty cool. -3. You gain life equal to the greatest toughness among creatures you control. That's different. Usually it's like the greatest, power, not toughness, but yeah, I think this is almost geared towards like a wall deck, I think. Yeah, I would definitely build a wall deck around this. This is actually not a bad card. I dig this card. I don't know how effective it would be, but it would be a fun deck to play. For me, like that's the best thing. It might not be the most powerful deck, and I'll probably have like a less than a 50% win ratio. But you know what? If it's fun to play, it's fun to play, and I'll play it again and again. Next up, we got Ashiok. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Dream Render. He's a 3-drop with a 5 loyalty. That's pretty sick. Spells and abilities your opponents control can't cause their controller to search their library. Not bad. I don't really come across too many people, though, that search their library unless it's for land. So that can hold someone back, because usually if you're searching for land, you're running some bigger creatures later on in the game, and you can hold that up. That's actually pretty good. -1. Target player puts the top 4 cards of their library into their graveyard, then exile each opponent's graveyard. Ooh. So that kills my deck in Standard. I'm running a black and green deck. I'm playing from the graveyard, utilizing the Undergrowth, and that would hurt me a lot. But he's cool, and I love that artwork. I hope they release that in like a play mat. That would be a cool play mat. I like that. I might make that my cell phone background. That's so cool. Alright, next up we got Sarkhan, the Masterless. He's a 5-drop with a 5 loyalty. Whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, each dragon you control deals 1 damage to that creature. Not bad. +1. Until end of your small text. Until end of turn, each planeswalker you control becomes a 4/4 red dragon creature and gains flying. That's cool. Yeah. To create just a token is great. To create a 4/4 flying dragon, for that turn, that's really great. -3. Create a 4/4 dragon creature token with flying. I like him. He is awesome. He's definitely going into my dragon deck. That's just really cool. Like, okay, I mean, you're gonna turn a planeswalker into 4/4 dragons, and then you create 4/4 dragons. I mean, that's worth it. Only thing is it's a -3 ability though, so you're only gonna get off 1 time. So you're gonna want to surround him with some planeswalker support cards for sure. But that's cool. I like that. All right, we got Narcelle, Parter of Veils. Okay, she's a 3-drop with a 5 loyalty. Each opponent can't draw more than 1 card each turn. I love it. It's gonna slow down some decks, but that's an awesome ability. Love that. -2. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a non-creature, non-land card from among them and put it into your hand, then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. That's okay. Can't hate on that. But make it so that your opponents can't draw more than 1 card. I love that. You gotta keep them down. So here. Alright, so looks like we're getting into some of the more powerful ones. Here we got Chandra, Fire Artisan. She's a 4-drop with a 4 loyalty. Whenever 1 or more loyalty counters are removed from Chandra, Fire Artisan, she deals that much damage to target opponent or planeswalker. That's cool. That's actually really cool. See, +1. Exile the top card of your library. You may play it this turn. Alright, I like that. That's okay. -7. Exile the top 7 cards of your library. You may play them this turn. I can see how some people might not be super excited, but I actually think that's a really good card. So Chandra's kind of known for dealing direct damage. She's always been just kind of mean. But this one is a little bit different. You remove a counter, and for each counter that's removed, she's going to deal damage to an opponent or a planeswalker. But the -7, so you're going to do -7, so you're going to deal 7 damage to someone, and then put out 7 cards. That's almost like drawing a whole new hand, and then being able to cast from that for this turn. That's great. I think her rarity is wrong though. Like, I would choose to make her a mythic. She's Chandra, and she's kick ass, man. She's Chandra. All right, let's see what else we got here. We got Gideon Blackblade. That's kind of a cool name. Sounds like a pirate. It's a 3 mana and 4 loyalty. As long as it's your turn, Gideon Blackblade is a 4/4 human soldier creature with indestructible that is still a planeswalker. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to Gideon Blackblade during your turn. Awesome. That's kind of classic of Gideon. He has a +1. Up to one other target creature you control gains your choice of Vigilance, Lifelink, or Indestructible until the end of turn. That's actually a pretty cool ability. I like that as a +1. Now, -6. Exile target non-land permanent. Awesome. I like that. Dude, he's good. I like him. Dude, the mono white planeswalkers are freaking awesome this go around. Let's see here. Ajani. Yeah, I was thinking Ajani would be just a straight up, just a white planeswalker, but he's actually a white and green. That's I think that's kind of new for him, isn't it? Let's see. Well, let's take a look at him. He's a 4-drop with a 5 loyalty. Creatures you control have Vigilance. Can't argue with that. That's an awesome ability. +1, you gain 3 life. Can't argue with that. -2, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, and a loyalty counter on each other planeswalker you control. That's cool. Dude. He should be mythic. I feel he should be mythic. That's my opinion. I think that's a great card. And a very fair mana cost on him too. Alright, next we got Nissa, who shakes the world. That is a cool freaking name. This better be a powerful card. That name, Nissa, who shakes the world. Let's see, 5 mana, 5 loyalty. Whenever you tap a forest for mana, add 1 additional green mana. Oh. +1. Put 3 +1/+1 counters on up to... Wait, what? Put 3 +1/+1 counters on up to 1 target non-creature land you control. Untap it. It becomes a 0/0 elemental creature with vigilance and haste that's still a land. Okay, so you're turning your land into a 3/3 essentially. That's cool. But also you get to untap it. And it's still a land. So you don't necessarily have to attack with it, you can just retap it and get another 2 mana. Dude. That's sick, because, okay, so she comes out turn 5, you tap 5 mana, she comes out, you do the +1, untaps your mana, and you retap it, you got 2, this is on your next turn, you're going to have 5, 6 mana, 7 mana that you have to play with. That's ridiculous, but cool. -8. That's a lot of loyalty. You get an emblem. With lands you control have Indestructible. Search your library for any number of forest cards. Put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. Okay, this is getting ridiculous. Okay, so that's like super cool. That's a great ability. It's for so many reasons. One, it fixes all of your mana troubles for the rest of the game. It's also really cool because you're going to turn those into creatures, and they're still lands, and they produce double the mana, which you don't even need anymore because you might have grabbed all the land in your deck, which doesn't seem like a bad idea, because now everything that you draw you can cast right away, right off your library, which is great, but the drawback, she comes out turn 5. And then you have 3, and she has a 5 loyalty, so it can be about 4 turns away before activating the -8. So you're on turn 9 when this happens. So, and by that, your game should be just about over. If it isn't, then you're probably in some kind of stalemate situation, and this is going to end that. But still, man, powerful card. She does shake the world. That's corny, but it's true. Alright, we got Karn, the Great Creator. He's a 4-drop with a 5 loyalty. Activated abilities of artifacts your opponents control can't be activated. Boom. Love it. +1. Until your next turn, up to 1 target non-creature artifact becomes an artifact creature with power and toughness equal to the converted mana cost. That's cool. I like that. It's like getting a free creature. -2. You may choose an artifact card from your... Well, wait. You may choose an artifact card you own from outside the game, or in exile. Reveal that card, then put it into your hand. That's cool. I like that. You know, so you can just have something just kind of chilling in your sideboard. You might need it, you might not need it. He lets you get it, so that's kind of cool. All right, but aside from that, you know, it's nothing too special. But I think he's great. Oh, okay. So we have is it Ugin, the Ineffable. He's a 6-drop. Ouch. With a 4 loyalty. Let's see here. Colorless spells you cast cost 2 less to cast. Okay, so he's great in an artifact deck for sure. Let's see, +1. Exile the top card of your library face down and look at it. Create a 2/2 colorless spirit creature token. When that token leaves the battlefield, put the exiled card into your hand. That's okay. That's kind of cool. I mean, you're getting a 2/2 creature. I mean, you can't argue with that. You know, and eventually if it dies, you know, you get cards in your hand without having to cast a spell for a draw step. And freaking, I think what was it, Ashiok? That prevented you from drawing cards? That gets around that a little bit. So you got -3. Destroy target permanent that's 1 or more colors. So pretty much anything. Anything that's not an artifact. He's not bad. That mana cost, though, is discouraging, but he's cool. I like him. Let's see here. We got Tezzeret, Master of the Bridge. He's a 6-drop with a 5 loyalty. Creatures and planeswalkers you control have affinity for artifacts. Well, that fixes Ugin. Oh, man. Affinity. He gives it to creatures and planeswalkers? That's cool. Dude. I have a feeling he's gonna kick my ass in standard a lot. +2. Tezzeret, Master of the Bridge. Deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of artifacts you control. You gain X life. That is a sick freaking +2. So -1. Return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. Sounds like it's worth it. Like, for that +2 ability, that -3 is worth it. -8. Exile the top 10 cards from your library. Put all artifact cards from among them onto the battlefield. Dude, you have to do an artifact deck with this. You have to. If you do an artifact deck, that's what makes him worth it. If he's not in an artifact deck, it's not worth it to have him there. But man, he is mean. He is a mean card. And he's gonna be expensive, I know it. Oh, here we go. This is my favorite planeswalker in the world, is Liliana. We have Liliana, Dreadhorde General. She's a 6-drop with a 6 loyalty. Whenever a creature you control dies, draw a card. That's cool. +1, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. -4. Each player sacrifices 2 creatures, which is fine because you've probably activated the +1 and got 2 zombie creatures. So then you're just going to sacrifice them and draw 2 cards. So -9. Each opponent chooses a permanent they control of each permanent type and sacrifices the rest. That's brutal. So they get, let's see, it's just permanent. So it's they get 1 land, 1 artifact, 1 creature, 1 enchantment, 1 planeswalker, and everything else goes bye-bye. That's cool. That's really cool. Dude, she might be my favorite. Like, I mean, Liliana is my favorite planeswalker, but I think she might be my favorite planeswalker in this set. That's great, you know. And with a mass, you know, she's the one that you want. She's the one that you want on your side. Let's see here. So let's all right, and we are at our final planeswalker. Nicol Bolas, Dragon God. Ooh, he's a 5-drop. He's a 1 blue, 1 red, 3 black with a 4 loyalty. Nicol Bolas, Dragon God, has all loyalty abilities of all other planeswalkers on the battlefield. Son of a gun, dude. That's so. It's not just yours. It's on the battlefield, dude. That's ooh. Bolas has always been one of those planeswalkers who's all pretty much overpowered. You know, it's +1, destroy target permanent. You know, lands included. You know, it's so powerful. And I was kind of curious what they would do with him this go around. It's like, what else can you do other than destroy target permanent? That's what's more powerful than that, aside from exiling everything on the battlefield. And there it is. And that's his static ability. Alright, his +1. You draw a card. Each opponent exiles a card from their hand or permanent they control. That's cool. -3. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. Yeah. -8. Each opponent who doesn't control a legendary creature or planeswalker loses the game. Oh, dude. That's... So, he comes out turn 5. And then 5 turns later, you're turn 10. And someone should be getting ready to make their move at that time, but all you gotta do is destroy potentially just 1 card on their battlefield and you win the game. Dude, Nicol Bolas is a beast, man. You know, I don't see very many people playing with him, and I think it's because no one wants to run 3 colors in their deck. But there's always mana fixers. There's always a reason to run 3 colors, and he is definitely a reason to run 3 colors. His artwork is incredible too. I want that as a play mat, dude. That is a sick freaking artwork, you know. And he's definitely a mythic rare for sure. Wow. This is actually kind of cool. 36, 37 planeswalkers in one set. The standard is going to be freaking nuts to a degree, you know. But I've noticed by a lot of these planeswalkers act like enchantments, and that's kind of what all they're good for, is just to have them on the battlefield, just to get that static ability for a lot of them, you know. But for me, this set, the planeswalkers alone, you know, is worth the booster box. I feel it is. Every booster pack is going to have a planeswalker in it. You know, I am so excited for War of the Spark, and I hope you guys are too. You know, if you like this video, hook me up with a like, hit the bell, subscribe, you know, share this video. Appreciate it, and I love the support. And like always, guys, let's keep Magic fun.